Supportive care. So since the number of healthy cells are low, the patient will be on antibiotics only, and the patient may receive growth factors, granulocyte colony stimulating factors, in order to increase the immune cells. So supportive care mainly includes frequent blood tests, close monitoring of vital signs, strict measurement of input and output, daily weighing, and providing protective sterile environment. So platelets are the one which recur the last of all, so we have to rule out for any bleeding. So engraftment can be delayed due to infection medication, low donated stem cell count, or graft failure. All those things we have to check in between. For full recovery of the immune system in the recipient, it may take months to year. Next is about the complications. So complications can occur due to the preparative regimen or the conditioning regimen. That is mainly due to the treatment, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, or a combined therapy. So it can be mucositis, diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, poor appetite, fatigue, as well as bone marrow destruction. Whatever bone marrow is there, it might be destroyed due to the therapy which we are giving before the transplantation. Okay, so due to that, there will be bleeding due to low platelets, infections due to low WBC, fatigue due to low RBC. From allogenic transplantation, allo means other, graft versus host disease. So that can be seen if you are not serologically testing the donor properly. Donor cells attack the patient's body. So signs and symptoms includes rash, diarrhea, elevated liver enzymes, and decreased liver function. It can occur any time after transplantation. It can occur 1 to 2 months after transplantation. It is termed as acute. It can occur after 2 to 3 months after transplantation. It's termed as chronic. So mainly this is treated with anti-thymocyte globulin (ETCA) or sometimes with the help of steroids. So what are the reasons for graft rejection or failure? One of the reasons is if the immune system cells are left in the patient after preparative regimen. The immune system can act against the donor cells. These native cells can attack donor cells. Graft failure occurs when donor cells fail to start working. So that is also a problem. When the donor cells is not working, otherwise engraftment is not occurring after within 42 days. This is considered as graft failure. So graft failure can occur, graft rejection can occur. So the treatment is, when these things happen, only treatment is receive another transplantation. Pulmonary complications can occur as well as veno-occlusive diseases of liver. So pulmonary complications like pneumonia and veno-occlusive disease of liver can be present with jaundice, enlargement of liver, and swelling of the abdomen and liver failure. So this condition can be fatal. So other problems like viral, fungal, and bacterial infection, any types of infection can occur. Okay. So nursing management is mainly we have to assess the general status of the patient. We have to check the vitals within soon after the transplantation, every 15 minutes, and it will convert to every 30 minutes, and it will convert to every 1 hour, 2 hour, like that. Observe signs of infection. We have to check for gastrointestinal function and motility. We have to send for lab report, send blood for lab reports. Neurological status should be assessed. Hydration should be checked. Routine activity level of the patient should be maintained. Dressing site should be uh, assessed. That is mainly in the donor, the harvested area. The dressing site should be checked. Assessment of invasive lines should be checked, and skin should be properly assessed. Interventions, we can provide proper skin care, we can maintain the hydration, and we can carry out the blood investigation. These all are simple points you can write. Keep the patient free from exposure to infections, administer adequate immunosuppressive drugs, provide proper positioning to the patient, and proper site care, nutritional management, aseptic techniques. What all things we should evaluate? We should evaluate for the effectiveness of immunosuppressive therapy, whether it is effective or not, symptoms of infection, reactions to medication, positive outcomes such as weight gain, improved nutrition, absence of disturbing symptoms of complication. And finally, we have to educate the patient and family members about all these things, whatever we have discussed, same points only, like the early signs of infection, the early signs of graft versus host disease, any associated symptoms. We have to inform that there is risk to get infection, so the patient should be take proper precautions. Need for immunosuppressive therapy and prophylactic antibiotic. You have to tell the seriousness. Need for long-term follow-up. Monitor the RBC level in between. Maintain effective infection prevention precautions and dietary changes. We have to inform the patient to take protein-rich and caloric increased calorie food, that is energy diet. So that is all about bone marrow transplantation.